Moment's notice. 50 homes evacuated in Sausalito because of a major mudslide there this morning. Passengers on board a Delta Compass flight from Orange County to Seattle recounting the horrors. Heavy turbulence forced an emergency landing in Reno. This passenger recounting what happened to another.
She had actually just gotten up to use the ladies' room, and she was in the ladies' room when we hit the big dip, and her head hit the ceiling.
5 people were injured. Jeff Scott, California News.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
You're in the front yard, shovel in hand, about to dig, when a thought crosses your mind.
Was I supposed to call 811 before I start digging? Nah, that's just for excavator dudes.
No, dude, it's for homeowners too. Before starting any digging project, call 811 2 working days in advance to get all underground lines marked for free, because natural gas lines and other utilities can be buried anywhere.
Got it. Thanks, deep-voiced narrator.
You're welcome, dude. Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
Terry's Diner in the Tri-City Shopping Center has a great idea for you. Terry knows you want a special spot for a special dinner on Valentine's Day. You know, like prime rib dinner with all of the trimmings, including warm sourdough dinner bread, plus a selection of special warm romantic desserts like brownie sundaes or maybe their cheesecake. It's all part of a special sweetheart deal for you and your sweetheart. Newly remodeled Terry's Diner will have the atmosphere you want when your eyes meet and your coffee gets refilled. Terry's is easy to find. It's right along Industrial Park Avenue between Tennessee and Alabama in Redlands and the Tri-City Shopping Center. I mean, could there be a sweeter town in the Inland Empire than Redlands for the two of you? Remember, Valentine's Day is not the same as Christmas or Super Bowl Sunday. It's quiet and intimate. Don't think of it as a loud celebration. Think of it as a special moment, and think of it at Terry's Diners, 1350 Industrial Park Avenue. That's 1350 Industrial Park Avenue at the Tri-City Shopping Center. Valentine's Day in the heart of Redlands at Terry's Diner.
The Legacy. Southern California's KCAA, the #1 talk radio station in the Inland Empire.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest real estate investment show ever. Here's the flip-flop investor himself, Todd Bayer.
Hey everyone, how we doing out there today? This is the Flip Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip Flop Investor himself. For those of you that don't know, every week we get together and talk about real estate investing here in the Inland Empire. I like to bring on a local expert or fellow investor, or, I don't know, somebody just has a lot of money, they want to give it to me to be on the show. I don't know. But we get these people out here and we talked about what they do in real estate. And today, for the first time in 2019, we've got Thomas Chappelle. How you doing today, Thomas?
Hey, how you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year. It's a little late in the day.
Exactly.
What is it, Valentine's Day today?
Exactly. Where's my candy at?
That's what I asked you earlier. I was thinking at least I was going to get some like a chocolate heart or even one of those little, Superman, cards that you get at school.
Chocolate bunny?
Hey, why not? I'll take it. I could get you some of those little heart-shaped antacids if you want one.
Appreciate it.
It says like, I love you on it or hug me or something. Yeah, those are nice. What better way to say to somebody, you make me sick, here's an antacid shaped like a heart. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. Anyway, what are we talking about? Real estate?
Hey, it's your show. Go with it.
It's my show. Yeah. All right. So, Thomas, why don't you tell the people out there that have either forgotten who you are or don't know, what do you do in real estate?
Okay.
Or actually, let's take it even back further. Let's do the origin story. How did Thomas Chappelle get to real estate? I like that better.
Oh, you like that one better? Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about when you were a young boy and you were just, making trouble out in Atlanta, Georgia. No, you were in New York, right, when you were a kid?
New York, Atlanta, stuff like that. I've been in a lot of places and whatnot. But moved here to California. Before I moved, I was living in Las Vegas, and I end up, actually, let me go a little bit further. Long time ago, Dr. Bus got me interested in real estate.
So Dr. Buss, he's a basketball...
The owner of the Lakers.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I saw his documentary, and I'm like, hey, I would like to do that.
Like, okay, so this documentary, you saw this on, like, HBO or what?
No, it was on, what was the A&E channel.
A&E, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he said, like, biography, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so...
Man, I didn't know they did one on him.
Yeah, they did one on him a while back. It was like some years ago.
I wonder if they got that, like, on Netflix or something by now.
Well, they did the same thing with Walt Disney.
Yeah.
You know, so I saw that. So I was very interested in it. I'm like, I would like to do that, but I thought that I had to be a realtor to do it. So I really didn't get a chance to invest into it.
To do what?
To do flipping and whatnot, because he had rental properties.
Oh, so... He was talking about what, real estate investing?
He was talking about how he ended up buying the Lakers because he had rental property and he used other people's money to buy the Lakers in cryptocurrency.
He used cryptocurrency to buy the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
Cryptocurrency before anybody's even like familiar with what cryptocurrency is.
Exactly.
So, okay, you got to explain that one to me because I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until I was told, that he bought the Lakers.
Okay, wait, when did he buy the Lakers?
Oh, he bought the Lakers in the late in the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere around in that era.
And he used cryptocurrency.
He used cryptocurrency.
Well, okay, so now I'm really confused. Like now I'm really interested. Like, okay, because I mean, cryptocurrency is one of those things. A lot of people out there are probably hearing about it on a regular basis.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's everybody hears about Bitcoin. That's kind of the big one. You got Ethereum, Ripple, some of these other bigger ones out there.
Bitcoin's been around for quite a while, because you invested in Bitcoin and whatnot. But it wasn't as a phenomenon as it is now, because everybody's trying to figure out what it is. So now you have all different types of Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
So that's
what cryptocurrencies
exactly and whatnot. So
like Bitcoin's just one of them. It'd be like the U.S. dollar is a currency. Bitcoin is a currency.
Exactly.
You have Ethereum. That's a cryptocurrency. Just like you'd have like the euro as a currency or something. Yeah. Okay.
So that's how that happened. But I thought that I had to be a realtor. So, the biggest problem that I had was, I'm not a good reader, not a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a lot of not ebooks, but the audio books and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had child support issues. So I figured, well, hey, who's going to want to invest in me? So that kind of like pushed me away from it, and I just did everything normal like everybody else do. Just went to the normal 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
and this and that. But as time went on, I got older, and I'm like, I need to do something different.
Yep.
Because this is not working for me anymore. I'm getting older, and the other part is that once you get older, you get pushed to the side. Society look at you, okay, you become a liability to them now.
Sure.
So now it's hard to get a job. I'm not going to be a greeter at Walmart, which is nothing wrong with greeters at Walmart, but that's not the kind of life I want to live.
Usually they're the nicest person at Walmart.
Exactly, and being a single dad too, I mean, I had to give something so my son can see that he can have a better life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what prompted me to want to get into to real estate. So I heard the radio station when I was living in Vegas about the fortune builders.
Okay.
And
that's
I'm
Dan
like,
Merrill's group.
Right. And I'm like, okay, I've heard it several times. I'm like, finally I said, I'm going to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the 1 hour workshop, and then they got this prompt to go to the 3 day. So I paid the $197 to go to the 3 day, and got some information. Some was over my head, some I knew, some I didn't know. But then when they dropped the boom and said, okay, we want $25,000 to join our program, I'm like, mama didn't raise no fool.
Yeah.
So I said no. So I tried to do trial and error. And as I got ready to move to California, I ran into a guy, him and his wife. His wife was doing mines and he was doing flip, and he was going to take me up under his wing. But by that time I ended up moving. So I came here and I Googled investors. 2 names came up. One, I don't know who the person was, so I wasn't supposed to remember. The second one was a Norris Group.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about the Norris Group, Bruce Norris, anybody like that. So I called the number, spoke to the receptionist, and I asked her, who can I speak to about investing? And she gave me Aaron Norris. Mm-hmm. So Aaron listened to me for 45 minutes. I did all the talking, and for those who don't know, I love the sound of my own voice. So I talked to him for 45 minutes. He didn't cut me off, and he turned me on to a guy named Nick Manfredi, which you know very well.
Yep.
And Nick had started a real estate investment club, and he was doing it every quarter. And I was supposed to go to his first one in April 2014, but that got canceled. So the last one he had was in July, and I went to that, and that's where I saw you and Steve at.
Yep.
But I didn't talk to you guys at that time.
Nope.
You know, so Nick ended up after that. He ended up had a smaller group, you know, and he was charging people $100 a month,
right,
just to go to his office and whatnot. I'm like, okay, but at that time, you know, I had a job. I lost a job when I moved here, so I was robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it for several months, and then I said I can't do it anymore. So one of his members said, "You need to go to Meetup." I didn't know anything about Meetup. So I went to Meetup, and I saw all these different clubs, but at that time, my car wasn't running right. I didn't have a lot of money. So I found you guys' club. You guys was in my backyard, so,
right.
Hey, I'm going to go.
Yep.
And then come to find out, you guys was charging $20 at the time at the Mission Inn. So I'm like, okay, I saved me $80.
Yeah.
So I was going consistently to you guys' club for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everything blossomed from there.
That's right, because I remember the meeting you came to, because that was the only time we've ever done our meeting in that room at the Mission Inn.
Right.
You know, it's like a really small room with a really low ceiling.
Exactly.
You know, and we did a meeting last night in a room kind of like it, but it was not the same one.
Exactly.
But I remember because we a guy named Kendall Stock was speaking that night.
Exactly.
And we had he had a whiteboard, and he was writing everything up on there. That was a good meeting. Kendall's a good. We need to get Kendall back, but I need to get him on the radio too. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, you were at that meeting. I remember we talked for a little while then, and then
right.
I think you've been coming ever since.
Exactly.
I think you've maybe missed only like a couple in that, like, since then. And
yeah, because I was in Vegas at the time doing barter trading with Andy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Andy Teasley.
Yeah.
Another repeat guest on the show. Got to get Andy back here too. It's a new year.
Exactly.
You know? He would have brought me chocolates.
Yeah, but he's doing big things now. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah, him and Bill Tanner had collaborated, so they doing meetings. They doing Saturdays and Sundays almost every month now.
Okay, so they're doing. Bill Tan's doing his calculator,
right?
His financial calculator class,
and then then Andy does his Pete Fortunato thing now,
right,
on Sundays.
Okay,
yeah.
So Andy's just kind of like regurgitating Peter Fortunato's stuff, or what?
He's mostly doing notes, and he's also, he's the Wizard of Wobbly Boxes. So
right.
He's doing that as well, teaching you how to buy mobile homes and, stuff like that.
We could have used him last night because somebody at the Let's Make a Deal meeting brought a mobile home deal to the table, and, me and Ryan, that's not our thing. We don't.
Right.
I've never bought a mobile home ever. Well, I have, but not as like a purposeful thing. Like it came with a property that I bought.
Yeah.
But I've never specifically sought out and bought mobile homes, and Ryan hasn't either. So, we're up there trying to figure out how much this thing's worth, and that mobile home park didn't have a lot of sales. We're just like, this is not our thing, man.
Exactly.
I wish Andy were here right now.
Yeah, he was at Carnes meeting last night.
What was he doing there?
Promoting him and Bill Tan's little meeting that they do.
See, they're not going to buy that out there. Those Orange County people are their stiff shirt people. They. It's funny, like, because one of the meetings out in Orange County, it was hosted by Joe Lahore for a little while.
Right.
And Joe, he owns mobile home parks in different parts of the country, and I remember because he's in the like Irvine crowd. Like these people are, like they want to buy nice homes, nice rental properties, and rent them out. They don't know anything about, mobile home parks and like the type of people that live in mobile home parks. He's not familiar with that. Like, these are like the wealthy, affluent people. They have no idea the other half of the country, how they live. So he'd always make this joke, like it's like the Jerry Springer show, like in the mobile home park, and like he's making all these Orange County people laugh, and I'm like, I mean, these are good investments, like like he's up there dogging these people. I'm thinking like mobile home parks are such a good investment. Like it's something that I wish I would have gotten into at some point. But I just never did. So
yeah, Andy keep getting on me. He's like, "Why you haven't bought one yet?" I said, "I'm getting ready to buy one, Andy."
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy one. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and you can get into some of these things. I was talking to a guy last night who bought one for $1. You bought it for $1. It needed a lot of work, but I think he said like a roof, new floor. Like by floor, I mean like the entire floor needed to be replaced because the roof had leaked through the floor. Right. So it was sounding like a lot of work to it, but. Now he has somebody else living in it that he sold it to with seller financing, and they basically pay him like he's the lender.
Exactly.
And he's just getting money. He's going to get paid for the next 30 years or whatever on this mobile home. So, they're good deals too, and you can usually get into them for a lot less money. I mean, if you want to buy a property in San Bernardino right now, you're going to put out $200,000 before you're able to sell it and recoup your capital. With a mobile home, I mean, $1 to buy it, and then I'm assuming based upon how much I know things usually cost, he probably spent $15,000 to $20,000 repairing this mobile home, to get it back up to standards.
Right.
So he's in it for $20,001, sells it off for whatever, maybe $30,000, and then, writes a note for it and makes some money. I mean, it's a pretty good deal. I'm going to be talking about that kind of stuff a little bit, because I understand the financing structure of it all.
Right.
And I understand how it makes sense to be a lender. So I'm going to be talking about that at your meeting.
Exactly.
Next Wednesday. But before we get to that, let's talk about once you started coming to the club, now you were around people that were doing what you're doing.
Exactly. I end up, my specialty is I like bringing people together. I love networking, and I get a joy out of it. And when I started coming to you guys' club, I became the unofficial ambassador to black people. Because I had to let them know, because when we were taught to do business as black people, we were taught to be dressed up.
Yeah.
That's the only way people would take us serious.
I mean, I wasn't naked or anything.
But see, we wasn't used to the surfer dude, flip-flop shorts and T-shirts, because we figured they don't know what the heck they talking about. They don't know what they doing. But I had to let people know, hey, if you can look past the exterior and listen to them, you'll get a whole lot out of it. And that was the biggest thing about me, is because I looked past that. Because I came for a purpose. I didn't come for a fashion show. You know, I didn't come to try to find me, just as a fashion show. I came really to learn, and didn't want to, I didn't have the money to invest like that, like I could have did with Fortune Builders, when I realized that they wasn't really teaching you anything. They would just take your money and wanted you to go out and do seminars for them. You know what I'm saying? That's how they making their money now. They did the TV program, and now they gotten real big, and I'm still trying to understand how Fan is the main guy. Now, maybe he was the money man and his partners were the whole machine behind it. But it's just, the fact is that, you don't want to get, taken advantage of. Right. So therefore, me coming to your club and I saw what you guys were doing and how you guys were doing it, I took it real serious. So I was letting people know that if you look at the exterior instead of the interior, you're going to get something out of it. If you look at the exterior, you're not going to get anything out of it. So you have to take yourself out of yourself to be able to absorb the stuff that's coming in, take what applies to you and throw the rest away.
Right.
So that's how that happened.
Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, our appearance has been brought up. A lot of people have, talked to us about it. I mean, Steven and I, when we got into real estate, we were young. I was 23 years old or whatever. So, and Steve was 22 or 21, I think, maybe even when he started driving for Chicago Title. And they, people got on us about our appearance. You should, you should dress up in a certain way. But, as a real estate investor, a lot of times we're going into homes that are boarded up, and we had to hop fences, we had to climb in through windows, and we're not going to get our nice clothes dirty. We didn't have more than one pair of good clothes anyway. So, so we, it's and we want to be comfortable. We're also in the Inland Empire, and if it's in the summertime, it can get up to 110 degrees out here sometimes.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to wear pants, slacks and shoes, and we wanted to be as comfortable as we could, because once you get back in the car, it's 130 degrees in there.
Exactly.
So we tell this to some of the people that would get on us about it, and they're like, whatever. So we actually at one point did try to conform. When we actually when I started Rehab Loan Group originally, and then I brought Steven in, we tried to do it. We tried to dress the part of the lender, right? Where I dress more business casual, try to be kind of the cool look, looking business casual style, but we blended in. When we go to all these other investment clubs around the places, we'd blend in, and people just forgot about us.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until we started showing up with T-shirts that said, our investors make more. We had a big old thing on the back. We got them at the indoor swap meet in Moreno Valley. We're going to these clubs that are out in Orange County, LA. So we're the Inland Empire. Let's make some noise. We're a little different out here.
Exactly.
We're not the same as these other places. So yeah, we showed up with these shirts on, and all of a sudden people knew who we were. We kept coming back, and people would be like, hey, and we walk in the door. It was a big deal. So that's where it all kind of started. Once we realized that branding the company and branding ourselves helped pay off and created recognition, because it's all about showing up.
Exactly.
It's like in this business, and you know it too, just continue to show up. Like if you show up one time and you don't get a deal, you know, that happens to everybody. There's not a single person that's come to one meeting and gotten a deal. It hasn't happened. Nobody's told me, yeah, I went to one of your meetings and I got an amazing deal out of it. You know, I partnered up with somebody, you know, that night.
Well, see, the biggest part is that, like, people are sitting at home, they want to change their career, you know, make a little bit of money they can retire off of, and they see all these reality shows out there, and you have all these flip shows out here, and they giving you the romantic side of the shows. Like, okay, we doing this, they pulling their hair out, they say all the drama, and then at the end they say we made $200,000.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is that they made $200,000. They did. Now you sitting at home say, I can do that, but then they don't tell you where they allocate the rest of that money. So you can walk away as an investor making anywhere between $15,000 to $50,000, depending on the actual property and the whole gamut of what goes into the property and whatnot. So it's not like you can get rich quick off of one deal.
Right.
And everybody looking for the big payday, just like when they go to Vegas, they play the slots.
Yeah.
You know, they gamble, and they looking to get the big payday. Then they get mad because they didn't spend so much money and they didn't get anything. You know,
you mean you're not playing the slot machines to win like $5 and then you just cash out and walk away at that point?
No, so you know,
you gotta look at it like I put $5 in, I won $5, so I'm at $10 now. Like I doubled my money.
Yeah,
100% return on my investment.
Yeah, it depends on how they look at it. But so that's the biggest issue. People come in with the wrong idea and don't realize they got to work it, and you got to put in work. But it makes it easy when you network and you circle yourself around a lot of people that's done it, that's doing it, that would invest. Like I tell people, I go for 3 reasons to these clubs. I go, 1, to build my database. It's the first reason why I go. The second reason why I go, because you never know who you're going to run into, because everybody don't do this full time.
Yeah.
And you're always expecting to receive something. Third and first and foremost is to encourage me not to quit, because there's times that you want to quit because it looks difficult. You've been finding deals, putting offers in, and nothing comes up. But my thing is that I was too far out in the ocean to swim back to shore, so I had to see what was on the other side. So I'm like Peter walking on the water, looking at God and say, okay, I'm going to trust you and I'm going to keep on doing this. You know, so that's how that happened for me.
It is.
You know, I didn't quit when I could have.
Anybody that's made it in this business has the same kind of story. I mean, because, yeah, you're going to face months at a time where nothing is happening and you're trying. You know, like I know, like for me, like Steven and I, we'd be out every single day looking at 20 different houses, and every single day we'd be writing 20 offers. And there was a few months that went by and not a single one of those offers got accepted, you know, but we're putting in the work every single day. We're still filling up our gas tank, you know, like we're still going out and buying lunch because we're out in the field trying to find deals. I mean,
exactly.
You know, you still got to pay for the lights to be on at your office. You still got to have your computer and, you know, all the software that we have to get sometimes. MLS dues come up. I mean, these things come up that you have to pay for. And, you know, sometimes it can get really discouraging.
Oh,
you know?
Please, and don't forget the agents, because you send so many offers to the agents, and they like, okay, we getting all these offers, but we don't see nothing happening and whatnot. Then they want to quit on you.
Yeah.
And then when you finally get a deal, then they like, oh, why you didn't do that when I was with you? Well, you jumped ship before it came in.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. The ones that think they have like an exclusive right to work with you, you know, and you're like, I'm sorry, you didn't bring the deal to me. Like, I'm not exclusive to you, where I have to give you a commission because you didn't do anything. You know, yeah, I've had those people too. You know, but yeah, it's persistence, continuing to do it. You know, and every single day, like. The hard thing is about being an entrepreneur and being a business owner and all that sort of thing is that every day you have to tell yourself what to do, and you have to literally be your own boss, you know, and set goals for yourself for the day, the week, the month, you know, and you have a list of things that need to get done, and it's just about systematizing. And like this was another thing I was thinking about talking about at your club next week. But
okay.
I was thinking about talking about it originally, but I really decided I wanted to do notes instead. But I was thinking about talking about systematizing and saying, okay, if I want to get one deal, you know, the average is for every 100 offers, and these are cold offers, you're going to get one deal out of 100.
Right.
That's the average across, you know, my career, pretty much anybody I know's career. Same thing goes with cold calls. You could pick up the phone book, which I don't even know where you'd find one now, but you could pick up a phone. They delivered one to the office the other day. I was kind of excited, and all it had was yellow pages in it.
Really?
There was no white pages in there for the regular people, you know? I'm like, what happened to that, you know? I don't even know where you'd go to get a regular phone number now.
I don't even know that.
That's
Because everything is computerized.
Like, you try to find out, like, you know, Thomas Chappelle's phone number. I could type that in online all I want, but I'm probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, so they, you could go through the, you know, let's assume we still had a phone book with phone numbers in it. You could call 100 people in there, and of those 100, you know, one person will possibly be interested in hearing you out about it, you know, selling their home or something.
Right.
That's sort of the national average, I guess. So if you were to call 100 people to get one person to talk to, you can make one offer to a person. So that means you have to make, in order to get 100 offers out there, you'd have to call 10,000 people to be able to make 100 offers.
Exactly.
So how much time does it take to make 10,000 phone calls? I mean, you know, if you figure each one takes a minute, that's 10,000 minutes you have to devote every single week if you want to get a deal a week.
Right.
You have to call 10,000 people. You know, just to dial the phone numbers takes 10 seconds, you know, or something. I mean, you have to start like kind of thinking in that way, and then once somebody picks up the phone, you have to have something you're going to say to these people. You know, you have to introduce yourself, explain what you're calling them for, and you know most of them are going to say they're not interested, or you know, don't call me, like all kinds of stuff. I mean, you get used to hearing these sorts of things, and then, but one person's going to be like, oh, you know what, I actually do have a house I'm interested in selling, or you know, yeah, I've been considering selling this house. Are you a realtor? No, I'm not a realtor. You know, you can kind of like start the conversation, but there's yeah, building up that system, you know, and then every single day sticking to that system and planning it out, saying I'm going to make phone calls from 6 o'clock at night until 9 o'clock at night, you know, and that's what I'm going to do for 3 hours straight. It's just call people the whole time, set appointments for myself, go out and meet these people, you know, and do this. I mean, that's how you plan out a system. But so many people are unwilling to do that, you know.
Yes, that's true, you know, because we are type of culture is we want it now and not later, you know, and not realizing that you got to get something, you got to put something in to get something out, you know. So that's the biggest thing that you have to worry about. And a lot of people come in with preconceived ideals of saying, okay, well, it looked easy on television.
Yeah.
So why is it not easy now? It is actually easy to do this type of business or anything you want to do, but the only problem is you got to look at, there's going to be some crossroads that you're going to have to come up to.
Yeah.
And it's how you deal with those crossroads will even determine how far you can go at what you're doing.
I think what a lot of people assume, because they go on the computer and they went to some, you know, boot camp or they went to some training thing, and they're telling people to look for deals on Craigslist. They're telling people to look for deals in the newspaper, you know, different like real estate magazines, and like that's not the best way to do it. Like, yeah, deals have been done, deals have come from those sources, but like that's not a consistent method. It's not a system to do that. You can make that part of a system, but there's not 10,000 people listing a property on Craigslist.
True. That's
you know,
true.
In one particular area. I'm sure if you took all of Craigslist, there might be 10,000 properties listed. So, you know, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but, you know, in one little area, if you're doing just the Inland Empire, for example, there's not 10,000 houses listed on there right now for sale. And, you know, most of those are not going to be investment type property anyway. It's going to be regular people selling their house.
Exactly.
And it's a perfectly fine house. There's nothing really wrong with it. Like, that's not the kind of stuff we're going to buy as an investor. Maybe as a rental, but I doubt we're going to get the good enough price where it makes sense. So
exactly.
Excuse
me. So
building up those systems is important, and you know, people are not comfortable generally with getting in front of other people, talking to somebody directly. You know, getting them on the phone or like talking face to face. It seems like so many people are like scared to do that. You know, like where like Charlie, for example. You know, Charlie Ortiz. He goes and he knocks on doors, and that's how he finds his deals. He gets a lot of deals, you know, because he knocks on doors. He gets in front of people's faces and explains to them what he does. And he's much better at it than probably most people I know in the club because he's just willing to do that.
But the one thing I realize, and I tell my son this, you know what, selling is not hard at all because basically all selling is conversation. You can have a regular conversation with anybody. If you meet somebody for the first time, girl, guy, or you're trying to have friends and you don't know them, you're selling yourself by conversation. Hey, how you doing? This is what I'm about. This is what I like to do, this, that, and the other. And they get to choose if they want to be friends with you or not. And that's all you're doing.
Yep.
It's just like it's not hard at all to have a conversation.
Well, for some people it isn't hard. But for some people, it really is. Like,
you know,
it's
you might
crippling.
say something crazy, but we all say something crazy, you know? So it's nothing
That's
to
what makes
it.
conversations fun.
Exactly. Makes us unique because we all got our own general ideals.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that your ideal's wrong, my ideal's wrong. We just meet somewhere in the middle and agree to disagree.
And, you know, the funny thing about conversations, because you and I are both chronic networkers. Like, we network with tons of people. We've met probably thousands of people.
Yeah, I did that last night.
Yep, met a bunch of people last night, too. And, you know, the audience changes. We don't change.
Exactly.
Our stories stay the same. I said the same thing to probably 8 or 9 people last night. You know, I changed it up a little bit from person to person because, you know, sometimes it works better if I say it in this order, you know, like versus this other order. You do it all the time. I mean, you've told me the same story, I think, 3 times today, you know.
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, Thomas, you got to start coming up with new stuff to tell me, man.
I'm boring you, right?
Yeah, you're boring me now. You already told me that, you know. But I do it too. Everybody does it because when you're like a chronic networker, you know, you have the same thing you're going to tell people.
Exactly.
So when you go to homes, when you call people on the phone, you're working off of a script. It's better if you script it out, you know, so that way you know exactly what you're going to say. And when they have certain rebuttals, you're going to have certain things you're going to say.
Exactly.
You know, they say, I'm not interested in selling my home right now. Well, do you know anybody who is interested in selling their house right now?
Exactly.
You know, like I'd be happy to pay you a finder's fee if I do buy another deal that you're able to send my way, you know, and I mean, it brings them back in. It's another way to keep the ball rolling. Every phone call has the potential to be something, you know. Who knows? If they have nothing to do, they don't want anything like that, you know, like, are you looking to upgrade your pet products? I could get you some new dog food, you know. I mean, you can keep it going depending on how far down that wormhole you want to go.
Exactly.
But, you know, like you can make money so many different ways in real estate and even employing other things. It's just about access to knowledge and knowing what to do with certain leads that come your way.
Exactly.
So when you cultivate a lead, how do you cultivate them generally?
Well, basically, you know, what works for me is because my number is out of state. Mm-hmm. Okay, so since my number is out of state, it's like, you know what, I'm new to California. I'm new to California market, you know, and I'm trying to find some people that I could work alongside with, you know, and try to ride the train as much as I can, you know, and I let people know my thing is that in order for a deal to work for me, I got to be able to put money into your pocket, which is a motivation for them. You know, so if you're going to find me something, get me something that I can put at least $30,000 to $70,000 worth of rehab work into it. Once I can do that, now I can put money into your pocket. But if you just find me something that's regular retail and it's already been rehab, it's not going to work for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's basically the generations of how I do it, you know. And I just let them know up front, you know, because I send offers out all the time. I'm sending out offers anywhere between 100, 200, maybe 300 a month, you know. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get all of them, but there might be one that I might get, maybe 2 I might get.
Yeah.
And get it towards I get an escrow and if something happens that falls out. Doesn't mean that I didn't do my due diligence. It's just that maybe the seller decided to withdraw it, you know, cancel, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And you keep on going. So, you know, you cannot just get down off of one deal.
Right.
You know, you're not going to get that big payday. You know, you coming in here with preconceived ideals instead of coming here and accepting for what it is. You got to work at it. And the best thing to work at is being able to have the charisma to talk.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had it happen where you had like 20 offers sitting out there and you're not so much worried about what if they all say no, but have you ever been worried what if they all say yes?
Yeah, because I'm like, wow, how can I do that, you know? But when you go, like I said, the biggest thing is I go to clubs to build my database. So if I'm not able to get all 20, I know somebody that might be able to help me out and then throw something my way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least we all can get a piece of the pie.
Yep.
So instead of letting the deal just go away, hey, why not get it and give it to somebody else and you can still get a piece? That way, now if they get it and they come across something, hey, I wash your back, you wash mine.
Yep.
You know, you build that kind of rapport, and you know, and you continue to work with people that's willing to work with you.
It's funny because I remember the first time that I wrote 2 offers at once. I didn't know you could write multiple offers. You know what I mean? Like when I first got into this, I was stupid too. You know, like I thought you shouldn't do this because I'm going to write 2 offers. I'm obligating myself to honor both of these that I'm writing right now. And at that time, I was working with a little bit of family money, and you know, I knew exactly how much we had to buy. And here I just wrote 2 offers that would have, it was double what I actually have that I could potentially spend on these properties. And I remember freaking out, thinking these are both going to get accepted. I'm going to be stuck. Like, I don't know how I'm going to buy this other property. Like, it was scary. Excuse me. And I remember, like, I actually did get both of them accepted. They accepted both of my offers. So we go into escrow on them. And fortunately, I looked at one of them. It was in a lot worse condition than I saw in the pictures. Right. So I came back to him and I said, I wrote this offer based upon what I assumed the rehab was going to be, but now that I've walked the property, because at that time I was actually walking every property, but it was weird that this particular one, they wanted us to submit offers before walking it. Right. Which was strange because they didn't do that a lot back then. So I submitted this offer blind essentially, and I just kind of threw a basic rehab budget in there, like of like $30,000 or something. But I walk it and like, there's like an aircraft, like engine size hole in the roof. Like there was some major problems with this house. I don't know what had happened there, but I'm like $30,000 is not going to cut it on this. I need to spend like I think my budget, my contractor said would be like $90,000 to $100,000, something like that. And so I came back. I said my offer was based upon like a $30,000 rehab. Like I can't do that, And fortunately, the agent was an investor himself, and he sort of understood. Even though the way I had written my offers back then, they probably could have sued me for the earnest money deposit at least. Right. But they released my deposit, and I got the money back. But like that was kind of a lesson in like always have an out, because at that time I didn't even know. That you could write an offer with like contingencies in it. Right. I just, you write a cash offer. That's what you do. You send a cash offer in, and that's it, and that's all. You have no contingencies. Close in 5 days. And that's how you did it. But right. Yeah, it was at that time that I realized like you need to put a inspection contingency in there because that's the kind of thing that'll happen. Like especially if you haven't seen it yet. So yeah, I remember that day very well because they both did get accepted. Like my nightmare came true. I had like a mini panic attack in my office thinking like, what am I going to do? But, and then after that, it was like we were writing 20 a day and like, I wasn't too concerned, but there was one point where I did get worried again because I think we had about 5 that were like going to get accepted, and like all 5 of them didn't. I think we only got 1 of them at that time, but I'm like, what happens right now when I get all 5 of these accepted? Because I still didn't know how to solve that problem.
Well, see, the biggest thing with me is that Bruce Norris told me, because I talked to him in person at that last meeting that Nick had, he said, money's not the hardest thing to find. You just have to have a deal. Yep. That's the whole key is having a deal. You can always find money. He said, if you look around this room, there's money in this room. So if that was the case, if I had 20 that was all accepted, I know people that got money, so I can go directly to them and say, hey, look, here's a deal, blah, let's do it.
Do it as a joint venture or just wholesale it off. Like that's an option you have right now. And when I didn't know about those things for a while.
See, well, you paved the way for me, though.
Yeah, hey, somebody was there to pick up a good deal. We had some good deals out there, and we joint ventured on them because like he said, like we now had capital partners and things like that. They were to help bring some money to the table, so we close on these good deals. It's just what we do.
Exactly.
So, all right, after you make some initial phone calls to people, you're dealing mostly with like real estate agents, though, right?
Agents. I got wholesalers that's bringing me deals. I got stuff that's coming off the internet, Redfin, Truthia, Zillow, stuff like that. And I also go around driving and talking to sell-by owners, It's just that the one big part of where I live in a predominantly Latino community. So they're not going to be too accepted to speak to a black guy. Big black guy coming up, knocking on their door. Hey, how you doing? Want to know if you want to sell your property. Have you did any modifications, where they at, so forth and so on. And, they'll sit there and tell you, oh, no, he's not here or, I'm not interested. But you just don't quit.
Right.
You just don't quit. You just keep on going, and you have to use all different types of resources. And the biggest ones that I use is going to these real estate investment clubs. I tend to try to go to as many clubs as I possibly can because, like I said, that's going to widen your scope, your database that you can contact and see how much inventory is out there. We already talking about where we think the market is going, and some of us are scared it's going to go back to 2008 and things of that nature. Well, I don't personally think it's going to ever get back to 2008 yet, but The thing of it is that there are inventory out there. It's just like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yep.
You know, because everybody's out there doing it now. You know, you have seasoned people that's doing it, and you have non-seasoned people that's doing it. And what's happening is those that are not seasoned are not sure of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So just say, for instance, if you find a wholesaler that came to you, the one thing that wholesalers like to do, and I did it, you know, I'm going to bump up my fee,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I got bills I got to take care of. I got responsibilities and whatnot. But you have to put that aside and say, okay, well, I'm going to get what I get. So if I get $2,000 on this deal versus getting $5,000 or $10,000,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Let me find another one that I can add to that $2,000. So if it's another $2,000, now you have $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's a $5,000, now you at $7,000. If it's $10,000, now you at $12,000.
Yep.
So you just got to keep going instead of just looking at that one.
Yeah, and that's, you know, for so many people, they stop there at the first deal. You know, they get their first no, and it's like that's it. They're
That's
done.
it. Yes.
You know, but another thing too, like some people do, they hold on so tight to their fee. They're like, I want to make $15,000 on this deal. You know, but the deal doesn't have enough meat on the bone for them to make $15,000. Like, I have no interest in buying a deal that is going to put me that tight at the end. You know, because I have to have a buffer at the end for in the event of something else happening that I'm not seeing, because stuff happens. You know, I heard a lot of people in the beginning, they would always say, like, oh, what if the foundation's bad? It's like, that's something we usually know going into it. You know, like, that's not a common thing that happens at the end. But, you know, sewer line issues, structural issues, permit issues sometimes, come up and rear their heads at the end. Like, there's all these different things that can show up at the end that, we always want to build in a contingency, like about 10% of the total rehab budget we'll add in there. So if it's a $50,000 budget, we'll have another $5,000 on the side in the event something else happens. But, sometimes that's not enough, because we've had times where we've had to spend well over $10,000 at the end of a property, like when we thought the rehab was complete, where we have to do more stuff, and if we paid that guy his $15,000 fee on the deal, it wouldn't have made sense for us. We would have lost money on a deal. And so, sometimes these guys, it's like, look, as a wholesaler, just get what you can. Like when you set your fee so high, you better know that deal is still a deal for the person buying it.
Exactly.
With that fee in place.
So the one thing that you guys did for me to also buffer me to not to quit, you turned me on to this movie called The Founder.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know The Founder existed.
Yep.
But the one thing I did get out of that movie is that the persistence that Ray Kroc had.
Yep.
He had all different types of adversity, and people didn't believe in him, and they thought he was a joke and this, that, and all he knew how to do was sell.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very persistent. The Secret, it tells you, and just like if you go to church, it tells you to write the vision, get you a vision board, see it every day. Then it makes it become a possibility. But if you don't see it, it's kind of not a possibility, and that's where you got the spiritual warfare that you're dealing with, talking yourself out of it,
Mm-hmm.
having other people say, how you going to do this when you don't have this? How you going to do that? You got to take yourself out and just sometimes take yourself into a closet by yourself and just say, hey, I'm going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I had to do, because my family thought I was crazy when I told them I was going to do this.
Well, I think everybody's family and friends think they're crazy when you say, I'm going to do this.
Because it's like, how are you going to take care of your responsibility because you're not getting no guaranteed money? No,
right.
It's that this is something I need to do. And if I'm good as I say I am, then I need to prove it to myself.
Yeah.
At least take a stab at it and say, at least I did attempt to do it. You know, and I tell people now, Nike got the best damn slogan in the world.
Yeah.
It's just do it.
Right.
So if you're going to do it no matter what. That's what God's been telling you all your life is just do it. I know you're going to say, I don't have the right criteria. I don't have the right education. I don't have all the money. I don't have this, that, and the other. But if you put your foot forward, somebody's going to come along and help you just like they did in The Founder.
Yep.
Somebody's going to come along, hey, I heard your conversation, bank was denied you from getting to extend your loan. But I can teach you how to do this a little bit different, where instead of you trying to buy everything, buy the land and lease the land out.
Yep.
That's how you make your money.
And that's how McDonald's made their money.
Exactly. So
that's how Ray Kroc made the money, yeah.
And it's easy because all we're doing in life is that we standing on the shoulders of people before us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody laid the foundation down, and all we're doing is piggybacking off what they did and taking it a little bit further.
Yep.
So the wheel has been invented already. Now somebody else come along and make the wheel a little bit better. Just like when the Wright brothers made the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somebody came along and made the aircrafts a little bit better and a little bit better, so forth. It kept going to where the aircrafts are where they are today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's all we're doing. We just changing the engineering of where it started from to where it is today. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, people, there's plenty of people out there that have been in this business long enough. I mean, I got started. I didn't know anything about it when I first came in. I was, you know, in 2005, I'm just some kid. I was a financial planner. I was actually my money was in the stock market. You know, I was advising people to put their money in the stock market at that time, and I believed fully in that. That was the way to do it. Like, I'd heard about real estate. I'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'd read some of these books, and that seemed like something I'd like to do in the future. Once I get a big chunk of money, I could go buy an apartment building or something.
Exactly.
And this is like a rental property that'll just pay dividends over time. But that was something that was going to happen in the distant future. I was just going to keep, investing in the stock market, invest on fundamentals and all this good stuff. And I mean, I remember getting excited one time because a stock that I invested in had gone up 35%, but I only had like $300 invested in it. So, it was a great return, but I just didn't have the kind of capital to make a decent actual amount of money that I could really live on. I mean, 35% of $300 is not a heck of a lot of money. I could, go out on a nice date or something, but that was about it.
Well, see, that's the thing about that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, that most people got the misconception about it. They thinking that his dad was poor and he had a friend that was rich, and that wasn't even the story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story, like they say, there's a deal inside of a deal.
Yep.
There's a story inside of a story.
Yeah.
It's just how you dissect that story.
Yep.
To fit you, not to fit somebody else or fit a lot of different people. It's how it's dissected to you and how you take and tailor-made it to your life versus taking it and accepting from everybody else. Because everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
You're different from me, I'm different from you.
Yep.
We think differently. We got different body types. We did all different types of things, The only one thing we have in common is that your blood is red, my blood is red.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all we have in common.
Yeah.
But you take different steps that apply to you and you make it become successful. You can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it. That's why I said Nike got the best slogan in the world. I love that slogan. Just do it.
Yeah.
And
it's like, that's the thing. It's like you wake up, you have your vision board, and that helps motivate you. If you have let's just assume your goal. I remember, did you ever see that movie Cool Runnings about the Jamaican bobsled team?
Exactly.
All right, so that the guy Yul Brynner in his thing he always carries around, it's a picture of Buckingham Palace.
Right.
And he says, one day I'm going to live in a palace like this, and the other guy makes fun of him. He says, that's Buckingham Palace. If you're going to live there, you got to marry the Queen. And so the guy didn't know it was Buckingham Palace, but he had this thing, and the other guy said, he put it back on the mirror. And he said, you go get your palace. And it's one of those things because he's carrying this thing around with him, like he has a goal in mind. If every day he's looking at this picture of a palace, and that's the thing that he wants in life more than anything, which it's funny because a lot of times when people get to the point where they can buy a palace, they don't, because there are other things that become more important at that point. But sometimes it helps to have that sort of thing. Like for some people, their vision board gets better over time. It starts out with a lot of material type stuff.
Exactly.
You're going to have your Ferrari there. You're going to have your palace in Malibu or something. You're overlooking the ocean. But over time, it kind of grows into more and more things. And like for yourself, establishing a legacy, having something for your son, who's here in the studio, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that yet. He's right over here watching the whole thing.
Exactly.
He's, you're trying to create a legacy. You're trying to get it so that, Thomas Jr. can, come up and do this business too and have his own lifestyle coming from this. And I'm sure he wants that sort of thing. Right now, he's probably thinking, yeah, that Ferrari sounds pretty good. But, he's, but I mean, that's where it all kind of starts, and I think a lot of people get into this business initially with sort of like that greedy mentality.
Exactly.
Which is fine, because there's nothing wrong with having a nice car if you can afford it. I mean, I'm not going to shame somebody because they have a nice car, because why not? I mean, I wouldn't mind having a Ferrari myself, but I mean, I've driven in one. They're not the most comfortable thing to be in, but, either way, the vision board changes over time, and like it's just that thing that you're focusing on, and it's so much easier to set your day out. Where if you're not employed and nobody's telling you what to do every single day, you have to be able to tell yourself to do stuff every day. And if you're seeing the same thing every day, and you're like, okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, what can I do today to work closer to that? Like every day, just make some kind of incremental movement towards that. Whatever it is, whatever's on your vision board. And that's why, like you're talking about the secret and stuff like that. Like there's the thing that you're driving towards, and that's what motivates you every day to do something towards it.
Well, my biggest motivation is now, it started off being, materialistic. But the way I see it now is that I get up to pour life into someone else. You know what I'm saying? To let them know that you can do whatever you set out to do.
Yep.
That's what I get a kick out of now. That's why I like mentoring now, because, we got to change our mentality, because as you get older, stuff that you wanted when you were younger, it's no longer important to you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you want to leave a legacy. I'd rather leave a legacy while I'm alive versus when I'm dead, because then when I'm dead, everybody gonna be like, this mine ain't gonna. It's gonna be a chaotic situation. Whereas you alive, you give them, now nobody can say anything because you directly gave it to them personally. So that's the whole thing that I like doing. I want to pour into somebody because I didn't have nobody pour into me until after I got older. That's when I was ready to understand and listen. So that's why they say that it gets better in time, age, and all this other stuff. But yeah, this is a wonderful thing, and I mean, I don't even know what employment is anymore.
I know. Oh man, I'd be the worst employee. I couldn't work with somebody. It would be so tough. But to that same point, you're talking about the vision board. Talking about the what were we talking about? I had something flash into my mind. Now I've forgotten. Man, that always happens. It happens more when you get older, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about. What were you saying? It was such a good thing. I had to get right in my mind. Now it's just gone.
Basically, I was just saying that, if you put your mind to it and if you really want something, you can do it. No matter what people say, no matter what people do, you got to have it in the heart. It starts in the mind and it goes to the heart. Or you can do vice versa, whichever one you want to do. But you have to have people that surround you. Have your dream team.
Yep.
You might not be the best, free throw shooter, 3-point shooter. You might not be able to catch all the balls, whatever the case may be, hit all the home runs, but you have a part to play, and you get your dream team, and that support system that you have will help accentuate what you're doing, because there's no I in team.
Right.
So in other words, you got to find the people that you can network and blend together with, and just work as a team.
Well, especially if everybody in that team has the thing that they love doing about it.
Exactly.
Because everybody has different things they love. Like my favorite thing really is like changing conventional ways of thinking. I love talking to people that they have a 9-to-5, and they I love talking to these folks because they they want the Ferrari still.
Exactly.
Like they're still in that mentality. They want the big house, whatever. They want to be retired. I'm like, how are you going to do that? Like, you're making $65,000 a year, which is okay. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad, but you're not going to get rich. You're not going to afford a Ferrari.
No.
Once you retire, by the time you're 65, you're definitely not going to want one anymore. Probably not. Hopefully, you shouldn't be driving that thing anyway, especially on a rainy day like today.
Exactly.
But how are you going to get there? Like, yeah, at that point, maybe you have a 401k, but you're not going to blow your entire life savings on a vehicle.
Especially if you have kids.
Especially if you have kids, and that's that's if you're allowed to save money like with kids. You definitely have to get another job, probably. It's fun to talk to them because, they leave their investments in somebody else's hands so often. They put it in their stockbroker's hand, or they have a pension plan through their company, and that's being handled by whoever the pension administrator is, and they have some kind of maybe a 401k. Maybe they were smart and started an IRA or something like that at their company, but they're just the person that handles it. They showed them like a little pie chart, and you pick your pie.
Yeah, exactly.
I want that one. I guess it's a mixture of all of it. Give me the one with the equal shaped slices. Well, I don't know. People pick these things. And
since I've been doing it, I want to break tradition and do something totally different. That's why I take money and you turn around and invest it, and you control it yourself instead of letting somebody else control it.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Exactly.
All right, we're running a little short on time, so. We could. That's like a whole other show. We got to have you come back. We can talk about that the whole time.
Okay.
But let's talk a little bit about the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. You got that coming up next week.
Next Wednesday is the club, ladies and gentlemen. It is called the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. You can find it up on meetup.com, and it's open to everyone. Just because it's called Black, and the only reason why it's called Black is I'm a Black host, but it gives a platform to showcase minorities' talents and whatnot. That's basically what it's all for, because sometimes they go to other clubs and they don't feel like they have the right criteria, they don't belong. So it gives them that platform to showcase that they can work with people that look like them, talk like them, and walk like them. So next week, Todd will be speaking. And he's going to be talking about buying and selling notes. And then in March, Aaron Norris is going to be speaking, talking about how to market your business, either with no money or little money. And then we have April, May, and June. We have Jeremy in April, Andy Teasley in May, and then the Hunters in June.
Okay, so you got already some people booked out.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if we have our guests booked out that far for the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, but I know who we're going to have this month, but we don't tell everybody. We stopped telling people who we're having because we want people just to come regardless of who is going to be speaking.
Exactly.
So for those of you that want to get into real estate investing, we have the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, which we host the main meeting every fourth Wednesday of every month at the Mission Inn. That goes from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then sometimes some little late night networking after that. We also have another couple meetings on the first Wednesday of the month. We have a cash flow game where we play a board game created by Robert Kiyosaki called Cash Flow. You get to learn how to do creative investment deals. On the second Wednesday of every month, which was last night, on February 13th, we had the Let's Make a Deal meetup. We're going to be doing this every month on the second Wednesday, and this is just us talking about deals as they come up and evaluating them and seeing if they make any kind of sense and see if we can get them put together in the room that night. Not selling securities or anything like that, but come do your due diligence. Third Wednesday is the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, which is Thomas. We're separate clubs, but, it's just on the third Wednesday. And then on the Saturday before the fourth Wednesday, we have Saturday morning coffee in the morning. And then we have on the fourth Wednesday, the main monthly meeting. Go to meetup.com. Check it all out. Thank you, Thomas, for stopping by again.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you all again next week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care.